Okay. So right now we are up about 59k, as you guys can see right here. Now here's the thing. Consistency isn't built by seeing how fast you can get to a bigger number. It's built by proving you can protect your account like it's your life before you even think about adding size. So remember, the goal isn't to get rich fast in trading. It's to stay in the game long enough to let compounding do its job. Scale slow, earn every size increase, so that when the storm comes, you'll still be standing. So you can see this is where a lot of retail traders get trapped. This is the first point they actually get trapped, right? People who enter for a buy here, boom, price comes down, stop them out, and then goes up in the way, right? Boom, this first round of traders who enter for a buy, you can see they got the right trade ideal, but because of the fact that they entered at the wrong timing, the trade did not play out the way they wanted to play out, right? I fundamentally define fear of missing out as letting someone else highlight reel question your own process. The rocky cutscenes usually last for 90 seconds in movies, but in real life, it can last for 5 years or even 10 years. The bigger your goals are, the bigger your timeline must be in order to match that goal. What's up, professional gamblers? It's the first week of September. I'm looking to milk some money out of the markets, like just squeeze the shit out of that breast milk. All right, so we entered for a buy right here, and let me just quickly explain. All right, so what happened recently was that we got this very ugly price delivery, right? What that means is that there's a lot of imbalance, you can see right here, which means that price has to fill up the imbalance by making like a very drastic pullback to the upside. So right now, I'm looking to actually play that pullback, right? I'm looking to actually play this short-term pullback so that price can pull back up to this order block and then continue bearish. Because if we look at the higher time frame, right, if you go back to the higher time frame, it has already shifted bearish since we got a market shift right here. And then if you look at the internal structure of the higher time frame, the 4-hour internal structure, you will notice that recently we have shifted bearish as well, right? So this tells us that the pullback is over, and then right now price has shifted bearish. So if I'm swing trading, I want to trade in alignment with the higher time frame internal structure and the higher time frame swing structure. So by right, I should be selling. But because I'm going to be day trading, right, my bias is a little bit different, right? Because I can't be selling right here. If I enter for a sell right here, my stop loss is going to be all the way up here. So super duper wide ass stop loss. And that's not ideal, right? That's not an intelligent risk to reward decision. So what happened is that if you look at the lower time frame itself, right, let's go down to 1 hour, you will see that market shift over here confirmed that this internal pullback is over, and then later on we got an internal break of structure which validate this market shift, which means that we are continue pushing to the downside. But before we push to the downside, we're gonna have like a very drastic pullback first because of this bad price delivery, because of this imbalance that we have in price right here, right? So price needs to fill up the imbalance before pushing down even further, right? It needs to actually grab some fuel. It needs to grab some sell orders before it actually continue bearish. So that's why during the London session today, I went down to the lower time frame, and what I saw was price actually mitigating this demand right here, this pivot demand zone, which is the point of interest that's most likely going to lead to price pulling back after this internal break of structure. And then when I go down to the 5-minute time frame, I saw that there was a large amount of demand, right, which actually push price up, right? You can see there's this sharp V-shaped reaction here the minute it actually mitigated this point of interest. And not only that, if you look at the lower time frame, you also see we got a liquidity sweep, right? We got price sweeping these lows before pushing up, right? Like I said, that sharp V-shaped reaction, which indicate that this is an institutional demand zone, right? And then now all I did was to wait very, very patiently for price to pull back to this institutional demand zone that led to the market shift, and also sweep some liquidity that we have below this equal lows right here. Right, so now we got all our confluences pointing to the fact that price is going to make that drastic pullback right now. And I'm here for it, right? I'm here to actually capitalize on this baby move, right? This little baby move. Okay, but yeah, I was just waiting for the right time to actually enter for the position. And the right time, the right opportunity appeared when price actually came down and swept these lows right here. You can see one low, another low, and then push price up, right? So another equal lows right here. Price swept those equal lows before going up. Okay, so now we are just waiting for price to actually take out this internal high right here to validate this market shift, right? Once you get a follow through, price breaks up this high here, it pretty much confirmed to us that this pullback is going to happen. And yeah, price is just going to go up to our TP and fill up all of this imbalance that we have on the left-hand side. That's the power of understanding liquidity, understanding institutional zones, understanding order flow. And that is really how I stay lucky in trading, right? And that is really how I'm able to make sure that I'm always positioning myself at the right place at the right time to seize the opportunity in the market, right? Like I said, when you understand how the market works, why price move, how price move, it's not really a matter of like getting lucky. It's a matter of making your own luck, using the skill set that you have developed over the past few years. And that's really what I do here, right? Like, none of this shit is luck here, all right? Like, I'm able to be there at the right time, at the right place to capitalize on the luck, buddy, right? So, my friend, I don't get lucky. I make my own luck. I'm a straight shooter, baby, right? So, down to the lower time frame, you can see demand is starting to step into the market right now. All right, we are expecting a very sharp push to the upside soon over the next few hours. So yeah, just excited to see how this roll. Now, a lot of you guys are talking about scaling to 6 and 7 figures like it's fucking nothing. Like everybody wants to go from $1 to managing $1 million overnight. I get it, right? Like the idea of scaling fast feels exciting, right? You are doubling your lot size, you're making more money, you're taking bigger positions, and you're feeling like you're finally playing with the big boys, right? You're finally of the pit traders. But here's the reality. If you cannot control yourself trading small, scaling up will only magnify every single bad habit that you have. Because habits will scale alongside your capital. Which means that if you're impatient right now, you'll be more impatient. If you revenge trade, you will just revenge trade even bigger and more often. If you panic cut your winners, you panic cut them with more money on the line, right? So scaling doesn't magically make you a better trader. It just adds another zero to your emotions. Now, if you don't believe me, I want you to try this exercise right now. Take the last 10 trades that you have made, those trades that you have won, you have lost. And then I want you to multiply the risk per trade for each one of those 10 trades by 10, right? So take the last 10 trades, multiply the risk per trade by 10. So you have risked $1,000 on the past 10 trades. You multiply the risk per trade by 10, you have risked $10,000 on each one of those trades. Now, what is your net P&L, right? Like, what is your net P&L over these 10 trades? If that thought makes your stomach turn, right, then you are not ready for scaling. Because this just means that if you are not profitable with like a small account, you are not going to be profitable with like a bigger account, right? You're just going to compound and make your losses even bigger, right? So what's the point of trying to get that 6 figures funded account, trying to scale to 7 figures, when you are not even profitable with like a small ass account? Now, here's the thing. Consistency isn't built by seeing how fast you can get to a bigger number. It's built by proving you can protect your account like it's your life before you even think about adding size. The best traders that I know, they scale slowly. They don't just increase risk because they're on a winning streak or because they feel like they should do it. They only increase it after months, quarters, and sometimes even years of executing their plan flawlessly, right? Because the thing about trading is that it's not about winning, it's not about losing. It's about following your plan. It's about handling yourself. It's about mastering yourself when you're in the markets. So the next time you feel like bumping up your lot size because you're like a good trading week, stop and ask yourself this one question. Have I earned this? Have I proven to myself that I can stick to my rules at this size for 100 trades straight? If the answer is no, then you're not scaling. You're just simply gambling with a bigger ticket. And remember, the market doesn't give a shit about how confident you feel today. It only cares about one thing. Can you handle the pressure when, not if, you hit that inevitable losing streak? If the answer is no, then my friend, you're just not ready. So stop rushing the process, scale slowly, build a strong foundation, or you can try scaling fast and watch it all come crashing down like the house of cards just as quickly. And by the way, this is a lesson that I have to learn the hard way. In my second year of trading, I just came off like my best month ever. I made like 15K a month on that month, and I felt unstoppable. Like I felt like I've cracked the code and I found the holy grail to trading. So what I did was that I doubled my lot size overnight. I went from trading 5 lots to 10 lots. And the first week, I was still making good money. I was still making profits. I turned that 15k profit into 20k profit. And my confidence was sky high. I feel like fucking Ray Dalio. And I started thinking to myself, wait, why didn't I do this earlier? I should have just full ported my account every single week. And then what happened is that the market shifted 180. I got 3 losing trades in a row, which is nothing out of the ordinary now that I think about it, which is just like standard variance. But because I scaled so aggressively, those 3 losses wiped out 50% of my account. It literally wiped out 50% of my account, guys. And here's the worst part. I didn't scale down. I told myself that I'll make it back in the next few trades. And you guys already know how that story ends. By the end of the month, I wasn't just back to square one. I was in the red. I got margin called and I had nothing to show for the work that I've put in for the past 3 months. And that 1 month taught me something no other YouTube video or trading book could ever teach me. It's the fact that your trading size should grow like a tree. Slow, steady, building roots with every single season. If you force it to grow faster, it will snap at the first storm. Right? So you want to make sure that you water the tree, you nurture it, you love it, you kiss it, so that it can grow slow and steadily. So remember, the goal isn't to get rich fast in trading. It's to stay in the game long enough to let compounding do its job. Scale slow, earn every size increase, so that when the storm comes, you'll still be standing. Here comes the good old liquidity push, man. Love to see it, guys. Love to see it, man. This is what we call the big black candle, right? You gotta pay attention to the big black candle, because when the big black candle comes, it means that liquidity is coming into the market. It means that smart money is pumping money into the market right now, right? That's the BBC, right? The big black candle, right? It's literally a big, fat, juicy black candle, all right? No discrimination here, guys. We love all sizes, but we favor big, juicy candles, right? Big, juicy candles. Man, it's just gonna continue pushing up a while. Man, I'm just waiting for it to take out this high. Once they take out this high, all higher hell break loose, and right now we're just gonna push it to the upside, like just give it like a straight push to the upside. Good morning, professional gamblers. Look like we finally got the internal break of structure to the upside to validate our market shift, right? So from now onwards, it should be just like boom, boom, right? It should just like go straight up to our TP, right? Straight to the biceps. Okay, but yeah, what about that? Last night we have identified as a liquidity sweep, and then later on, price created a market shift, and then this is where we actually enter for our trade upon the final liquidity sweep. And then right now, this internal break of structure pretty much tell us that this thing is about to start pulling back. We're gonna start to have this massive pullback, right, to mitigate all of this imbalance, this bad price delivery that we have on the left hand side, and then potentially coming up deeper into these areas of supply or order block that we have up here, right? Because this is where the market is trying to actively find fair value, right? Because right now it's kind of like too cheap, right? So it has to like rebalance itself. It has to get more fuel before it can continue down even further, right? So yeah, right now we are halfway through our TP. Let's be a little bit more patient, because as you know, patience pays off. Right, so it's been quite some time since we entered for this trade. It's been about 24 hours to be exact, and we already got an internal break of structure to the upside like what we have mentioned earlier on, and we also got price pulling back after this internal break of structure so that it can gather more demand before continuing this internal bullish structure that is being formed right here. Okay, so yeah, this just gives us more evidence that price is going to continue going up to hit our TP, because what happened was that price literally came down, did the exact same thing or quite a very similar scenario like what we have over here, where it comes down, right, sweep all the tiny low liquidity below these lows on the 5-minute time frame. You can see all of these lows right here, it got taken out right here, right? But I believe that this is more of like an inducement, right, to bait retail traders to enter for a buy early. And then this is where they place their stop loss below these lows just to see them get stopped out, right? So you can see this is where a lot of retail traders get trapped. This is the first point they actually get trapped, right? People who enter for a buy here, boom, price comes down, stop them out, and then goes up in the way, right? Boom, this first round of traders who enter for a buy is too late, right? Or rather, it's too early, right? You can see they got the right trade ideal, but because of the fact that they entered at the wrong timing, the trade did not play out, the way they want it to play out, right? So the next trick, or rather the next trap that the smart money laid out was actually over here, right? So now people think that, oh, this is the final liquidity sweep, so I'm going to enter for a buy right here, place my stop loss below these lows, or here, right? Because we can see there's a very nice trend line being formed right here. Later on, boom, smart money fucking manipulate price and cause price crumbling all the way down here to sweep all the stop losses that we have below this trend line right here. Below all this is this little higher lows being formed right here before the real move actually happens, right? You can see it also tap into this demand that we have on the left hand side, which generated a large amount of imbalance, right? You can see huge imbalance right here. So clear as day, you can see how price delivered to like this point of interest, and right now it's pushing to the upside, as simple as that. Okay, so yeah. So right now, since we got all the liquidity sweep, all the newbies who entered for a buy position early out of the game, it's time for the real move, right? It's time for the big daddy move, all right? It's time for price to just go up to my TP and just go to the moon. Okay, so I'm expecting during the New York session, we could potentially get like this huge push to the upside, right? There is even a chance that this entire trend will reverse, right? Because you never ever know what's going to happen in New York session. New York session can continue, right, this bearish structure that we have, or it can cause this bearish structure to reverse if there is sufficient demand, right? So it's all about what is the balance between supply and demand in the market right now. Now, I believe that the most powerful silent killer out there for beginners is not a bad strategy. It's not trading psychology. It's fear of missing out. I fundamentally define fear of missing out as letting someone else highlight reel question your own process. When you go onto social media, you see that 22-year-old dickhead with his flashy cars, and he's younger than you, he's more sexy than you, he makes more money than you, and now you are prone to taking a large trade, right? Because you start to think that if you actually win this trade, you will actually live the life that he's living right now. You will be able to get the Ferrari that he's living right now. You will be able to magically flip your $500 account to $1 million just from this one trade. Well, that's not true, and you only found out on hindsight. The reason why you got into that large trade, the reason why you actually doubled your lot size on that one trade is because you felt a sense of fear of missing out. And the fear of missing out came from social media, right? It came when you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. Right, this is why I advocate just fucking get off social media, right? Unfollow any other trading influencers that we see out there, except me, of course, right? Because I don't post flashy cars, and just focus on your own lane and paving your own path, right? Because at the end of the day, you must understand that the rocky cutscenes usually last for 90 seconds in movies, but in real life, it can last for 5 years or even 10 years. And yeah, like this 22-year-old guy might be achieving his dream life right now, might be making millions, retiring his parents right now. But what you fail to see is the past 5 years where he stayed up late nights, where he wake up early mornings, where he grinded at the charts every single day, where he blew accounts after accounts, and he kept going, where he constantly just embrace the suck even though his friends were laughing at him and pissing at him. That is what you fail to see, right? But like I said, people only see the highlight reel, right? People only see what they want to see. People only focus on the wins, but they fail to acknowledge the losses, the failures, the obstacles, the challenges that the person has to face, has to overcome before they actually get to win, right? Before they actually have this beautiful highlight reel. And that's the exact same thing with my channel right now, right? If you look at my channel, we got 1 million subscribers. I'm making 6 figures from trading every single month. But just understand that you shouldn't be comparing yourself to me. You shouldn't be following what I do right now. Like, I can use 50 lots because my account is big enough. I can be more discretionary when it comes to my exit because I've earned the right to do so. But you can't, right? You need to be mechanical with your entry and your exit. You need to be sticking to one trading style, focusing on one strategy rather than trying to become a jack of all trades, right? So you need to focus on what are the things that I did when I was in your position to get to where I am today, instead of focusing on what I'm doing right now, right? Because what I'm doing right now may not apply to you, right? Because you're not managing like a 6 or 7 figures account. You have not mastered market mechanics yet, right? So why are you trying to trade like me when you haven't even gotten the basics of market structure nailed down, when you haven't even understand where is the available liquidity. So of course, the strategy that I'm showing you guys here, it doesn't apply to you, right? Because number one, you haven't gotten to the point of mastery where you actually understand market mechanics at a deep level to apply it in such a seamless manner like the way that I do it. Number two, you might have a different trading style than me, right? You might be a scalper, you might be a swing trader, you might be a position trader, you might be holding a trade for weeks, while I'm just trying to catch the mass move within a few days, within a few hours, right? So our time horizon is different. And last but not least, we might have different goals. To me, I define success as getting exactly what you want from life. If I want to become the best trader in the world, then I'm going to be sharpening my sword every single day, right? I'm going to be trying to progressively overload my trading execution. I'm going to try to progressively overload my mind, my body every single day so that I can become sharper on the charts and really optimize every single tiny part of my life just so that I can become the best trader and make the most amount of money in the entire world, right? Become the richest trader in the world whatsoever. But however, if your goal is to just make 10K a month and be like a stay-at-home housewife who look at the charts here and there, then you don't need to have this level of obsession that I do, right? You can just easily get to 10K a month, right? Just by spending 3 to 4 hours on the charts every single day, right? And just by being consistent, right? Without that intensity. The key to success in life is to really go and figure out what you want, right? Because once you start figuring what you want, you won't be drifting around, not knowing where to go, directionless and lost. But instead, you will know exactly where you want to go because you have a finish line in mind, right? And you know once you reach that finish line, you're good, right? You're set, right? You can retire, you can stay at home, you can sit on the beach, you can spend time with your family, and maybe check the charts 1 hour or 2 hours a day, right? So that could be you, right? But that's not me, right? Because quite frankly, I don't have an off button. I don't know whether you guys can tell, but for the past few years, I've been so bloody consistent when it comes to the way that I trade, when it comes to the way that I produce these videos, because I just can't rest, right? Like, I have so much energy, I have so much passion for what I do. I love trading, I love teaching, I love empowering people and changing their life. Like, nothing can just stop me right now because I feel this sense of higher purpose. And you can see, my goal is different from yours, right? Because my goal is to shop every single day, not just for myself, but for my community, for my family, for my team, for my company. But for you, right, you could just be, like I said, right, just want to chill, be like a stay-at-home housewife, make 10K a month from trading without worrying about millions of people, without having anything on your shoulders, then yeah, by all means, go for that, right? So yeah, just to wrap it up, like, just don't try to compare yourself to anyone, like, really. You can take inspiration from them, right? Get motivated by their success because they are the trailblazers. They've shown you that it's possible, right? But at the same time, your job is to figure out your own edge, right? And figure out your own goals and figure out your own timeline. And that's another thing that I want to mention. It's the fact that the bigger your goals are, the bigger your timeline must be in order to match that goal. You can't be saying shit like, oh, I'm going to become a millionaire in 6 months. The truth is, it's 100% possible to become a millionaire trader if you just extend the timeline. If you actually think about it from like a longer time horizon. Like, what if I give you 50 years to become a millionaire trader? It'd probably be much more possible than doing it in 6 months, right? So it's not your goal that is unrealistic. It is your timeline that you have set for yourself that is unrealistic. So the sooner you can understand this, the sooner you can actually start focusing on the things that actually matters the most, which is the process, which is the system, which is the processes that will actually get you there and let the results take care of themselves in the future, the sooner you will actually become profitable, right? You can see it's quite ironic. And the best part is, the bigger the timeline, the easier it is for you to achieve your goal. Because now you don't have to get anxious and stressed and frustrated of trying to watch 500 plus lessons in 2 months. Now you can actually watch those 500 plus lessons in months and really focus on taking it slow to absorb the information, synthesize the information, and apply the information onto the charts and actually get better at trading. Right? So when you actually take some weight off yourself, right? And you actually become more easy on yourself, while simultaneously being hard on yourself in terms of like executing your plan, in terms of getting better at trading, that is where you will start to see a huge monumental shift in the way that you think, in the way that you actually trade, because now you'll be more patient because you have such a long time horizon and you're just fully focused on playing the long game at your own pace and treating this as like a marathon rather than like a sprint or like a race, rather than trying to compare yourself to some other wanker out there, right? Because the truth is, you can't even get better than that other guy that you're watching right now. You can get better at trading than I am right now. You can make 10 times more money than I'm making right now. But by comparing yourself to me, you could be limiting your own trading abilities, right? You could be capping your own success. So quite simply put, figure out what you want, what are your intrinsic goals, what is your intrinsic motivation, right? What do you genuinely want to achieve from trading? And then set out a plan to actually achieve those goals. But most importantly, give yourself like a realistic timeline, or don't even give yourself like a deadline at all in order to achieve those goals, right? And just focus on getting better every single day, because like I said, eventually the results will take care of themselves. And that, my friend, is how you can build longevity over your entire trading career, right? Just by really focus on becoming 1% better every single day, so that you can eventually become part of the top 1% of the traders in the entire world. That is what it means to be inside the 1% club. Holy shit, price is so near our TP right now. Big man things, bruv. Right, so yeah, we're like 3/4 there. But my only concern is that NFP is coming out in like 1 hour, right? So hopefully price is my TP before that actually happens, right? Because that can easily go both ways, right? We can just start crashing down. You know what? We might even want to take my trade off before NFP. I don't feel like risking it today, man. I don't feel like risking it for this extra 10 pips, bro. So we'll see where price go before the NFP, right? I will try to see if price can get as close to my TP as possible. Even if it just gets like somewhere around here, it's still pretty worth it, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna continue being patient. And then before NFP come out, which is like 1 hour from now, we are probably going to just get out of the position. Because I am not risking this extra 10 pips for like this extra, I don't even know how much I'm going to be making. Let me see how much I'm making right now. Okay. So right now we are up about 59k, as you guys can see right here. Alright, but the camera is not really focusing because the light is way too bright. But as you guys can see, that's about 49k plus 10k. Do the math, it's 50k, alright? No, it's 59k. And I'm the Asian. Come on, man. But yeah, man, we're on a roll right now. I'm not going to risk it, man. Like, honestly, honestly, you know what, fuck it. Before NFP comes up, I'm just gonna close the trade, man. I don't give a fuck, man. You know what, let me just go and set an alarm physically, right? So that I actually get out of the trade before NFP hits, right? So let me just put that to 8:25 p.m, right? And then put a alarm that say, get the fuck out of GU. There we go, man. There we go, guys. Look at this shit, man. Get the F out of GU. There you have it, let's. Right, there you have it, let's. 8:25 p.m. 5 minutes before NFP, right? So yeah, let's just pray that the trade will just go up to hit our TP before then. But it's very highly unlikely because the volatility is usually like quite thin in the market before the news, because it's filled with uncertainty. It doesn't know where it's gonna go next. So yeah, it could just chop around before the news comes out. But we'll see. Right, patience hopefully pays off today. Alright guys, we are closing all our positions right now, man. We are up about 60k at the moment. NFP is gonna come out soon. I don't really want to ride this to the upside, so I'm just gonna close everything right now at 60k. But yeah, let's take it, man. Let's take it all. Let's bring it back home. And look at this ASMR. Boom! Now we're out of all our positions, man. Made about 60k on this trade. Fuck, man. I really wanted it to run all the way to TP, right? But I'm not a professional gambler, alright? This is that point of time where it's like double or nothing, right? Like if I actually go and trade NFP, price can shoot up tremendously and I can make like 120k or some shit like this. Or I can just get stopped out at break even, and that's not a bet that I'm willing to take, at least right now, man. So yeah, got out of all the positions, made about 60.5k, Let me just share with you guys. Yo, there we have it, lads. Made about 60.4k on this one big boy trade right here. Manually closed the trade. Like I said, it's either double or nothing, and I'm not willing to take that bet, man. Like, I'm just not gambling the profits for the sake of this additional, I don't know, 40k, 60k. I'd much rather just secure the profits and just get the fuck out of the game, man. Plus, I don't really want to hold the trade over the weekend as well, since we're coming to a Friday, and that's really the last day of the week. I've been holding this trade for like the past 3 days, and I think that's enough. Not trying to incur any layover fees on the weekends or some bullshit like this. But yeah, I honestly thought that we would close the position on the same day where I actually entered for the trade, right? But always be optimistic when it comes to your trade ideal, but pessimistic when it comes to the trade outcome or the timeline it takes to achieve the TP, right? But yeah, at least patience did pay off this time around, man. Like, we didn't take full TP, but we closed at around 3.3 R, and that's pretty decent. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna call it a day right now, and I'm gonna go chill this weekend because fuck, man, I've made enough money for this week. Oh my god! Fuck! What the fuck? No fucking way, man. It is what it is, guys. I can't even be mad at the market right now, man. I straight up can't even be mad, bro. Like, I straight up can't even be mad. I knew this was gonna happen, but like, man, I guess I was too much of a pussy today. Fuck! Why am I such a pussy, bro? Okay, but look at what's gonna happen. Look, so you're telling me that price could have hit my TP? Okay, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter what happened to this, right? It should have hit my TP. Fuck.